Hi, you. It's me, Nicole Phoenix Star, and this is the Nick Star podcast. I feels like ages since I've done a recording, and it hasn't been. Just there's been a lot going on, and this whole time of year feels quite bendy, stretchy time, and there seems to be a sense of quickening happening, which often does happen as the end of the year starts approaching. So all of that in the soup. I had a lot going on the last couple of weeks that have been what I call a definite season of perturbation. And I remember when I first heard the word perturbation, I was unfamiliar with it. But once I delved into it and understood it a little longer, a little deeper, a little wider, it essentially means, those squeezy times where we feel under pressure or we are experiencing things as hard. It kind of reminds me of the journey of coal turning into diamonds. It's the perturbation that creates the result of what happens during that time of squeezing and difficultness and uncomfortableness. So yeah, it's fascinating. A lot of people see me as someone that navigates life quite well and is quite wise and, is on top of things. And I most certainly am many of those things, but life still happens to all of us, irrespective of whether it's a consequence of anything you've done. Like, life just happens, and it feels at times like it comes out of left field and has nothing to do with you or anything you've done. And to recognize in that moment and always know that these are growth times and these are evolution times, and anytime you're feeling uncomfortable, it's a time to look within and to see the opportunity in there and find the context of the subject matter ripe for evolution, no matter how left field or bizarre it is. And the perturbation I've been in the last couple of weeks has been very kind of left field, but it's nothing devastating or disturbing. It's just led me into this huge arena of seeking clarity around my way of being and way of working and where I want to invest my time and energy in the future, which I felt coming for some months. I felt the shift, the energy of shift, and these random situations come in where it's time. I used to go through evolution through injury for a while, and through my physical, through health, injury, I'd be kind of taken out, or I'd injure myself extensively, and it would force me into these profound awareness of the evolution, and I'd be kind of sat on my butt, forced to do the work. And I decided some time ago that I was going to quit that technique of evolving through injury, and I most certainly have. And I was having a giggle to myself the other day how, although I feel like I absolutely run at opportunity of evolution, and anything that comes to me, I meet it in full intentionality, that there's still a part of me that kind of sits back and waits for it to happen. And so kind of really going into deep inquiry around that, about how much I am participating in each moment. And although I actively let life live through me, is there a part of me that kind of steps out of that starring role of my life and into the supporting role of just letting life live through me without being in full presence and full realized intentionality of like just meeting each moment at the level of awakened realization, because that is my aspiration. And so that's been a huge practice, and it's glorious. So in all of this, I actually had someone ask me about friendship the other day, week, and although we have been, very close for years, but as a role of more of guide or teacher and student, we do have a very close relationship. But are we friends? Because, I always say that I don't really have friends like I did when I was younger. And I went into a deep inquiry around that, like, well, what is a friendship, particularly as an adult or a mature adult? And I see, friendships as people mostly kind of call each other or message each other to share their life or seek counsel or console, and sometimes share a meal or go do something. And there's just that connection of liking each other even. And I was just like, wow, okay, so what really is friendship, and what does that mean to me? Because, I have a lot of intimate relationships. None are physical, but I have a lot of intimate relationships, very, very close relationships with a lot of people. And there is a lot of connection, and would I say they are friendships? It was such a profound question to me because I was like, what even is that? It was such a potent question. And I realized that I don't actually view any form of interacting as a friendship, because for me, I just don't have that experience of what I used to when I was younger with a friend. And now I have far more intimate relationships with people in different ways. And the idea of friendship seems superfluous or not applicable to me as I was going into this deeper inquiry. And when I was looking at, what do you do in a friendship, and how so much of that was sharing parts of your life, and quite often difficult parts, or issues at work, or issues with family, or issues with, relationships, people, and how as a society we kind of spend so much more time as that go-to, rather than spending, very intentional time within and being able to kind of do the work with the difficult situations or the dynamic in the relating, or the opportunity of contemplation around career or work, or how you invest your time and energy. And rather than spending quality time delving into it all with thyself, having a conversation with another, perhaps friend, there just gets other people's perceptions involved. You aren't kind of connected into your own intuition or your own, evolutionary process. And although it can feel helpful, although it can feel comforting, although it can feel, that they're bringing you the answer that you actually need, I think the great go-to of talking to others about your problems or issues in life really misses the opportunity to sit with it within, and to feel deeply around what it is, and to dance the evolutionary dance of the opportunity you're in. And not negating the value of human connection, but having the discretion around having a conversation with someone after you've invested the time in yourself, more so as a sharing of your process, and not seeking outside of yourself for someone else's perception or how they would respond it if it was up to them. Because I think this is something that humans in this day and age are missing out on, an intimate relationship with themselves. If they're not going to their friend to share every dirty detail of the argument they had and reinforcing each other's opinions, then they're going to Google or social media to get strangers' opinions and how we're becoming far more disconnected with the human experience and the intimacy of the relationship with self. And so that little question of friendship has been a glorious time of inquiry and observation, and realizing that, you know, for so many years now, I go inward when I have opportunities of evolution and difficult times and hard stuff. And I sit with it with me. And, you know, years ago, when I was wondering, when did I stop acting in friendships like this? And I realized, well, it was when I had my first guru, and having someone to talk to about your stuff that isn't a friend, that is actually a guru, you know, which could also be, you know, perhaps a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a coach or, you know, someone who is not your friend, maybe a little bit more skilled in listening and offering invitation for you to look within, or, you know, kind of mirror back to you what you're actually saying. That I did have 3 people many years ago that I sat up the feet of and was able to have that invitation to go deeper within. And it's been many years now that I haven't had a guide or a go-to, because I have cultivated that within myself. And anytime that, you know, something comes up that in the past that I would, you know, call a friend and cry about or whinge about or freak out about, it's an invitation to go within and navigate that. And I absolutely, you know, share with some people, and sometimes I just need to say it out loud, you know, this is what's going on for me, and that I had spent a lot of time in this process, and I messaged my daughter and I said, look, I think I just need to say some stuff out loud. I don't need any feedback. No, I didn't say that. So I don't need any solution. I don't need any kind of like dialogue around this. I think I just need to say it out loud and just see where the energy goes. And she's like, yeah, cool. I'm available. And I rang her and I just kind of gave her a little debrief around my process of me working with the current evolutionary opportunity. And because of our dynamic and how well we know each other, she was able just to offer up reflections on what I was sharing that weren't, you know, opinions or solutions. And through that reflection, some really big things landed for me that allowed me to kind of see where things were kind of a little bit blurry from my own investigation. And and just the ripple out of that has been extraordinary for me. So I was thinking, okay, what am I going to talk about? And I was like, this whole idea of friendship and or Google ship and or social media ship, of seeking outside of ourselves for resolution of uncomfortableness, really is a huge piece of this era in the human being experience, and how, it's such a lot of little real consistent messaging to go within, sit with it, go within, feel it all, feel the, be your own guide, and to be brave, go there, really cultivate an intimate relationship of relating with yourself and this human experience, and really be able to hold space for yourself and coach yourself and self-regulate. And these are the skills that I think that, friendship and the internet and these things kind of keep us out of. And how the human experience and the human connection is so much more than that. We're able to be in this dance of human relating, as well as having a very deep and intimate relationship with the self, and that possibly being a little healthier for us all. And yeah. So, what a wild ride. What does friendship mean to you? Such a potent question. Anyway, my love, that's all that I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for listening. Feel free to share this with anyone that you may feel will benefit. And yeah, that's all. I love you. My website is www.nickstar.com, NIKSTAR.